Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's landscaper time, so hopefully it won't be too annoying. And I'm not in my normal location. I'm at the beach. It's true.
Lucky.
I know. Super lucky, except for I have to leave. But it's okay. I'm here now. All right. How many of you remembered to do your assignments?
I did.
Yay. Remember you had 2 assignments that were due last night? Hopefully we're on that, right? Because if you looked at this week, you have some assignments coming up this week, right? So we'll talk more about that too. You can work ahead. You can work on the assignments even though they're not due. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. We have a couple people we're still waiting for. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, there's one. So I don't know. Can you hear the waves in the background? I think my headphones are blocking it, so you can't tell, but it is amazing. Let me tell you. All right. So last week on Thursday, we took a little quiz. Some of you, it was the best quiz you've ever had, right? You're like, I did amazing. I did great. Some of you, you're like, no, it was okay. But then I thought I knew what was happening, but then I didn't know what was happening. So I need to review some of those things. So make sure you, review the comments that I put on your quiz because I graded them all. And if you have any questions, you come and see me so I can help you with things. Okay. So, and you have a tutoring assignment coming up for this week. So that will be good to get some of you used to how to use the tutoring center before you desperately need it, right? I'm going to go over kind of an outline of what we're doing today, but let's take a look. Sorry, don't mean to make you a bit dizzy. Just had to go back up to the top. Okay. So, here's a quote from Denzel Washington. I don't know what you think of him. It's okay either way. If you don't like him, if you like him, I found a calendar of quotes for Black History Month and I loved it. So I'm using them in class. You might agree, you might disagree. I'm just wanted to put it out there for you. Not all my quotes are from Denzel Washington, in case you thought that was what I was saying. That is not what I'm saying. All right. The other thing I want to do with you first is A mindfulness Monday activity. It is Monday, even though since I'm at the beach, I feel like it's every day is a holiday right now. But so gratitude. So it's just a 1 minute activity, should be nice. So, and this is a great thing for you to do. So have a scratch piece of paper near you, or if you have a nice fancy little notepad that you always wanted to use, you could do that too. You're just going to take 1 minute and write down as many things as you can that you're grateful for. Do you have a question for me before we start?
No, sorry.
Oh, no,
Those
you're
makes
fine.
sense.
You're fine. Just wanted to make sure. Um, so I don't know why that's so confusing for me. Okay. So write down as many things as you can that you're grateful for, and then keep this somewhere with you. I keep mine right by my bed. And then I've done it so many times that I have another copy that I keep on me, like in my wallet. So, and if you're ever stressed or unhappy or anything like that, it's a good thing to remember, because probably we're grateful for a lot more things than we realized. So take 1 minute starting right now. All right, that was 1 minute. I hope you came up with a lot of things. My list just keeps getting longer and longer and longer, especially depending on how you start. Some of you might just say, I'm grateful for family. And then you start thinking about it, and you're like, wait, maybe I should be more specific. Like, I'm thankful for my mother and my father and my siblings and my children and, all of those things. So, I think we do forget sometimes, because we get caught up in our busyness, how much we have to be grateful for. So just keep that in mind. Um, it's a great thing to take away some of your stress, or hopefully. Okay. So let's do a quick 3, 2, 1. After your mini lesson assignment, you should have something when you think of the word statistics. When you hear the word statistics, what does it make you think of? Get it ready in the chat, but don't hit enter yet. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. And now read through everybody's answers as they're coming in. Very nice. I agree with all of those things. We have a lot going on, collecting and analyzing data, percentage, experiments, ratios, the comparison of information to explain an outcome, data collected from a control group. That's an interesting vocabulary we'll talk about. And then Josh, a number or a fraction of people that is used to measure those people or that group in an experiment. So I love all of those answers, and all of those are definitely part of the world of statistics. So just so you know, here's an overview of our module. You did a mini lesson last night, and some of you might have been, so you notice also you have a reading and you have a mini lesson, right? For every section now. So the reading is totally up to you how much you do of the reading. Some of you might like the readings because you like a textbook format, and some of you might like the mini lesson because it'll have more videos. It doesn't matter to me. However you get the information is the best. And you might need, a lot of people use a combination of them. They like the mini lesson, but then they might have to refer back to the textbook just for as a reference. So that's totally fine too. So here's what our module is going to look like. Today and tomorrow we're doing our intro to statistics because there's lots of vocabulary. Then Wednesday, we're going to be going over presenting data graphically. And then Thursday, you're going to do a little mini project that you're going to present. Okay. So that's what our week looks like this week. Now, next week, does anyone notice we have a short week next week? Yeah, it's President's Day on Monday. Yeah, look at that. Everybody's like, oh, yes, nice. Thank you, presidents. I don't know for what, but maybe the day off. But anyway, so it's a short week next week. So I'm not sure how far we'll get. I have to look at those. We'll at least get through S3 and S4, but I don't want to go too fast. And then the following week, we'll do the normal distribution and standard scores. And I'll let you know probably later this week when your next quiz will be. Okay. So what's nice is your little mini poster presentation that you will do on Thursday also goes in the quizzes and tests category. So it's not always just a quiz that will be there, right? Sometimes it's work that you do in class. So that will also help your grade. That being said, you have your readings, you have your mini lessons. You can work ahead as you see those assignments pop up. How many of you read my announcements for the week? If you had, you would know we had that day off, just so you know. So don't forget about the announcements. Okay, so we're going to get new teams. I know, don't cry. A little tear is streaming down your face about who you're not on a team with anymore. These are your new teams. So Team Purple is Zevi, Lily, and Lee. Okay. Team Blue is Tashina, Danessa, and V. Team Green is Matt, Josh, and Judith. And Team Red is Rookie, Annie, Zach, and Brady. So you might be wondering how I chose your groups. I chose your groups partly by your program of study. Okay, so, but some of us have a strange program of study or it doesn't quite fit in there. So some of you will notice you're in people that have a similar background than you or program of study. Some of you are undecided or didn't know your program of study. So that was a little bit harder. So I should be able to put you in breakout rooms, but it helps me if you guys put since there's only 4 rooms, it should be pretty easy. So in my first room, I'm going to have Zevi, Lily, and Lee. Did I lose Lee? Maybe. Okay, and then Tashina. So what you're going to do is you're going to get in your breakout rooms and you're going to introduce yourself to your new group. You might want to investigate what program of study they are in, and then I'm going to have you do some would you rather questions. Do you remember would you rather? That game we talked about before. So the would you rather questions you're doing this time are, so introduce yourselves and discuss the cards below. Would you rather live in a houseboat or live in a log house in the forest/mountains? And then would you rather have a horse's tail or a unicorn's horn? I know these are big life questions. When you're done discussing those cards and saying hi to your new group, I want you to talk in your groups about one thing you've learned already in this class about how to be successful. Okay, in this class, like maybe it means doing all my homework. Maybe it means coming to class every day. Maybe it means going to tutoring. I don't know what it means. Okay, so questions on what you're supposed to do. Remember, introduce yourselves. I'll type these would you rather questions in the breakout room as well so you can see them. Okay. Okay. I'm going to open your rooms. Go ahead and go there. Hi, Josh. Hopefully it won't crash again. All right, we still have like 22 seconds before everybody's back, just so you know. No yawning, Yuda. It's contagious. You're going to make us all yawn. I see how you are. It's all right.
Super Bowl was intense. So
Okay, you'll be sad to know I didn't even turn it on.
oh my gosh.
Worst Super Bowl ever.
Yeah,
sorry.
that's what my husband would say. So we've had a Super Bowl party. We've been married almost 27 years, and we've had a Super Bowl party for 26 years. So this is the first year, obviously, we did not have a party, right? And I actually left town. So he was at home by himself. Well, I mean, with our other two children. And he said it was just him and one dog watching the Super Bowl, and it was terrible and it was super boring. And he's like, he texted me when it was halftime because that's my most exciting part of the Super Bowl. And I said, sorry, sunset time, can't watch the Super Bowl. So and I just feel like it just wasn't my thing. I like the Super Bowl for the party, not for the football. So that's just me. And since I couldn't have a party, then there was no Super Bowl for me. So there you go. So Judith, I don't know if you had the greatest Super Bowl. Maybe you're a big Bucks fan. I don't know, right? I don't know what's
Yes.
happening.
I'm not
Okay.
a fan of that stuff, but I do it for the party.
Yeah. Well, since COVID, I had no party. So there you go. All right. So I need someone to tell us something about anyone on their new team or any of the would you rather questions or how to be successful in my class. Just quickly.
I got it. Well, me and you were talking about the unicorn and the tail question.
Yeah.
And at first, I was thinking about the practical utility of having a horn on your head, but then I kind of thought it'd get in the way a lot. Going through doors. I mean, you could accidentally poke your newborn or something like that. So I decided that a tail would probably be better because that's mitigatable and you can just hide that and it's not going to be in front of your face all the time. So we different. What's the word? We disagreed on that. So I don't know.
You did you want the horn?
Yeah, I did. I think it would be cool just to have something like on my head and kind of protective. A shield of people or something, or I don't know.
Yeah. Well, isn't it magical too? I'm pretty sure if it was unicorn horn, it would be magical. And so I wouldn't even have to worry about any of those things, Matt. I could make the door bigger. I could make my unicorn horn disappear. Like I have so many magical powers if I have the unicorn horn. And seriously, look at my hair. Oh, why is my hair in this big knot? Can you see how long my hair is? That's already a horse's tail, so don't need one of those. I especially do not need it lower on my body. So there you go.
You'd go
Yeah,
crazy with power.
did you realize how long this was? It's crazy. So yeah, I'm a no-go on the horse's tail because I already have one. So I'm a unicorn horn magical. I always find some loophole. Yeah, that's my deal. Some of you are like, it's not magical. Well, mine is. So there you go. Okay, anyone else? Anything?
For the would you rather, I went with the horse's tail because if I had a unicorn horn, I feel like it would be too heavy on my head and it would mess up my posture already.
Mm,
And it would just it would be like, oh no, more back pain.
that's a valid point. But again, I'm magical. So, but yes. Good. Okay. How about being successful in this class? Anyone have helpful hints for each other?
I didn't get a chance to share mine, but what I was going to say is like as long as you can like kind of sort out your time properly, then you can get all your work done.
Josh, I think that's a great thing to advise people because that's the biggest downfall of people is their balance, right? Their time getting things accomplished. Yep, I agree. Okay, excellent. So let's take a look at some mathy things now. So I made this slideshow so it's color coordinated for you because I don't know about you, but when you were going through the textbook, there was a lot of information there, a lot of vocabulary words. So if it has to do with the population, it's going to be in yellow. If it has to do with the sample, it's going to be in blue. So the population, a population is all the people in a particular group, right? Or objects, whatever it is, it's everything, every single one. Whereas a sample is just a portion of that. Now, you hope that your sample is fairly representative of the population. But that's the job of statisticians to make sure that happens. So, and then a parameter is a value that describes the entire population. So you've used all the population data for that. Whereas a statistic is just, it's still a value, but it's calculated from that sample information. So it's important to know, are you dealing with the population or are you just dealing with a sample? Because do I have the parameter for the whole population? Most of the time we don't. Most of the time we just have a statistic and we determine, should we apply that to the population? Is that a relatively good measure of whatever that is in the population? Okay. So parameter goes with population, statistic goes with sample. Kind of nice that they start with the same letters. Now, if you have a census, we just finished the census. Yes, I hope you were all counted in our census in the United States. We did a big push at MCC. I know COVID had some issues, but you know, in the United States of America, every 10 years in our constitutions, we say we will do a census. Did you know that's in the Constitution? It's true. So make sure that you're part of that because that's how a ton of government funding is handled, right? And a lot of people remember vividly, I was just at a talk the other day on how to be an Afro-Latino. That was the talk, what it means to be an Afro-Latino and not how to be one. I don't know what that talk would be, but it was what it means to be Afro-Latino. And a lot of the people on our panel were talking about how the census categories changed and they so appreciated it that they now fit into one because before they just had to mark like other, and what does that even mean? So this is a fascinating thing. So a census is when you count every single person, right? And that's what we try to do in our census. That's why we have census workers who follow up with every household to make sure we count everyone. Whereas a sample, now notice we use that word twice now, right? A sample is a smaller subset of the population. But again, we try to make it relatively comparable to the entire population. So now we're going to talk about what's the population, how do we describe it, and then what's the sample. So studies are often done by pharmaceutical companies to determine the effectiveness of a treatment program. Suppose that a new AIDS antibody drug is currently under study. It's given to patients once the AIDS symptoms have revealed themselves. Of interest is the average or the mean length of time in months patients live once they start the treatment. A researcher follows 40 patients with AIDS from the start of the treatment until their deaths. So what I want you to do is take a minute right now and to think about how you would describe the population in words, and then how would you describe the sample? So take 1 minute and just think about it, and then we'll share. All right, what do you guys think? How would you describe the population?
It'd be patients with AIDS symptoms.
Excellent. All patients with AIDS symptoms, right? All patients with AIDS symptoms. And then what would the sample be, Tashina? Do you know? Or anyone else?
I was a little torn on that. I was thinking it would be the 40 patients. So, but it doesn't give us a total number of what the original population was, but it's out of that population, there's 40 of those patients.
Absolutely. So our population is people who have AIDS, and it should say symptoms. And then the sample is the 40 AIDS patients who participated in the study. So do you see how you have to be very specific when you do those things? And I should be even more specific, and I should say right here, people who have AIDS symptoms. And it's all people, right? All right. So again, these are just reminders of what population versus statistic is, and parameter versus statistic. Remember, a parameter is for the population and the statistic is for the sample. This is the same scenario. So think for about 10 or 15 seconds, just make sure everybody has some processing time. What would the parameter of interest be, and what is the statistic? Okay, so think about those. All right, any ideas? It's okay, I can just pick people. It's fine. Because some people always volunteer. So how about any of these people? And then I'll just pick one. Zach, Annie, Brady, Lily, Danessa. Any of you know the parameter or the statistic? And if you're wrong, it's fine.
I'm not totally sure what parameter of interest means, to be honest.
Okay. So parameter is a value, average percentage, calculated from using all the data from a population. So it's going to be a number. So do you see anywhere where they talk about a number that they're looking for?
Just 40 patients. Would that be a parameter?
Okay, the 40 patients, that's our sample. So they're measuring something. What are they measuring in here?
I think the length of time in months.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're measuring the average length of time in months. So the parameter is the average length of time in months that all AIDS patients would live after receiving treatment. But the statistic would be the average length of time that just the 40 patients, right, live after treatment. Yeah. So an average is another word. Mean and average are the same word, right? They have the same meaning. So notice that parameter and statistic are now numerical values. We don't know what they are yet, but that's what we're interested in studying in this. Good job. Okay, now I'm going to give you a document in the chat. If you're on purple or blue, you should know what team you're on, right? Do you know if you're on purple or blue? So if you're on purple or blue, you're going to take this document. If you're on, sorry, I was trying to do more than one thing at a time and I'm not competent right now. Okay, so purple and blue are going to get this doc. You don't have to make a copy of it or anything. If you want to, you can, but it's just something we're going to do in class. So purple and blue, here's your doc. And then green, we only have green and red. Here's your doc. And you're going to work in your groups and you're going to answer these. There's 6 questions on there, and be specific when you answer them. Okay. And you can share a screen. One person can share a screen. You can all see the docs. So it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to give you about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes at the most to answer those 6 questions. If you need my help, call me over to your room and then we're going to explain them to each other. Okay. Because only purple and blue will see the first doc, and then green and red will see the second doc, and then we'll share. Okay? Questions? Everybody have the docs? Okay, good. Go back to your rooms. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. Very nice. Some of you are all excited and you just went faster. That's okay. I know you're very excited to participate in math class. It's the best thing ever. Good job. Okay. That's observational because that's all we're doing. We're just recording. We didn't change the temperature, right? We just wrote it down. Okay, here's the next one. A group of students are told to listen to music while taking a test, and their results are compared to a group not listening to music. Observational study or experiment. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. See, I was faster on that one. Yeah. Experiment. Excellent. Because something's changing, right? We're testing something out. Maybe it's the type of music. Who knows? Maybe it's just any music. Here's another one. A study is conducted to determine whether people learn better with spaced or massed practice. Students volunteer from an introductory psychology class. At the beginning of the semester, 12 subjects volunteer and are assigned to the massed practice group. At the end of the semester, 12 subjects volunteer and are assigned to the spaced practice condition. Is this an observational study or an experiment? 3, 2, 1, go. Ah, this one was a little trickier for us, right? If you're changing something, then it's going to be an experiment. Since we changed something, it's an experiment. We didn't just let them all do the same thing and we just watched. We changed things, even though they volunteered for it, right? Okay. I hope that's the last one. A teacher wishes to know whether the males in his or her class have more conservative attitudes than females. A questionnaire is distributed assessing attitudes. And you can just say it out loud if you want. Are you already in the chat? You're already. Good, Josh. Thanks. Yay, observational study. Because they didn't do anything. I mean, I hope the professor didn't do anything. But that would be a whole separate thing. Bias and everything would come into that. So, yep, observational study. So how many of you have ever heard these words, treatment versus control? Somebody put it in the chat at the very beginning. Nice. So if we have a study, if we have an independent variable that's we're trying to manipulate, that is the treatment, right? So if we're testing a new vaccine, if we're testing lotions, if we are doing music people listen to, anything like that, the control group is the group we're not messing with. Now, sometimes we give them fake medicine. Yes, that's what we did in our vaccine trials, right? Some people got the actual vaccine and some people got what's called a placebo. A placebo is a neutral treatment. It doesn't do anything. And the reason we have to do this, have any of you ever heard of the placebo effect? Yeah. The placebo effect is when people just hearing that they're getting medicine makes them feel better. I definitely have that problem, right? I could just eat a Tic Tac and I'm pretty sure I would be convinced that I would feel better. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at this. The treatment group versus the control group. A team of researchers is testing the effectiveness of a new HPV vaccine. They divide the subjects in 2 groups. Group 1 gets the new vaccine. Group 2 gets the existing vaccine. The patients in the study don't know which group they're in. Who's the treatment group and who's the control group? You can just say it out loud.
The treatment group is group number 1, and then the
Very
control
good.
is group 2.
Absolutely correct. So group 1, because they're getting the new thing. Group 2 is acting like a control group because we already know the results of that. Here's one. Now they're in a weight loss drug trial. Garcinia, I don't know how you say that. Cambodia, does that sound familiar to anyone? And they're divided into 2 groups. The first received a chemically inactive, which is also called inert pill, along with exercise and diet plan, while the second group received the test medicine. So the patients don't know which group they're in, nor do the researchers. Which group is the treatment group? I know it's killing some of you not to answer. You're like, I like the 3, 2, 1 chats because then I can enter really quickly. Judith, what do you think? Which one's the treatment group?
The treatment group, probably the people that first received it.
So it says the second received the test medicine. So when you
Okay,
see that
so
they,
the second
when they receive the test medicine, then it's group 2. That one's a little bit trickier. Okay. Because the first group, notice the first group just got an inactive pill. So they're the control group. Okay. So it's a lot of reading here to go through. All right. How many of you know what blind versus double blind studies are? Nice. Lee's got it. Lee's all over some of this material. I appreciate it. So this is what we talk about when we do research. Usually in the first phases of research, we do blind studies where the participants don't know if they're getting the medicine or if they're just getting the placebo. In a blind study, though, the researchers might know whether the participants are getting the actual medicine or not. And that's usually for safety reasons, right? In the first phases of studies. In the last phases of studies, every valid research goes through a double blind study where neither the participants nor the people who are interacting with those participants know who's in the treatment group and who's in the control group. And that's to eliminate the bias that's there. Okay. So we usually start with blind studies and then we move to double blind studies before they're approved. So all of our approved medications have been in double blind studies or they would not have been approved, including our current vaccine. Okay. So this was the same one we already read. Remember how we said the patients don't know which group they're in, nor do the fitness and nutrition advisors. So since neither the patient nor the advisors know, then it's considered a double blind study. Okay. In this one, since it only says the patients in the study don't know which group they're in, we don't know if the people who are interacting with the patients know or not. So we can't call it double blind. We can only call it a blind study. Okay. Because we don't know enough to determine. Okay. That's it for today. What we're going to get into next, we have so much more, but it's biases. And I didn't want to overwhelm you with vocabulary, and I wanted to get you your new groups today. So if you look at your homework, you could do nothing tonight. That's an option. You're like, I'm tired. I'm just going to go to bed. I don't have time to do any homework. But that means you're going to have a lot of homework to do tomorrow night. If you want to avoid that, what you will do is you will start your homework tonight. So you have more practice. So you already did the more mini lesson. So every unit's going to have a textbook reading, a mini lesson, and then a practice. So you already did the mini lesson and the textbook reading. Now you have the practice. You might not be ready to finish it, but you could start it. You could start the more mini lesson. If it was me and I was doing my homework, I would just start my more practice homework and I would wait and do the mini lesson tomorrow night because then I'll be ready for Wednesday when we start the S2. Note you also have a tutoring assignment that's due February 19th. That's not till a week from this Friday. So I gave you a lot of time. So you don't forget about it. You can do it whenever you want. Just make sure you fill out the form before you go to the tutoring center. And we'll talk about that tomorrow in class. Okay. You can work ahead on your assignments. That's not a bad thing. Just if it says we're doing it in class, you probably shouldn't do it before class. Okay. Questions for me? Great job today. Thank you for being so cooperative. I'll take you on a little field trip now. Don't forget to do your exit ticket. I'll take you on a field trip so you can see the beach. I know you're jealous, but it's okay. I'm not going to be here much longer.
I haven't been to the beach in so long. We always go to California.
Yeah. Okay. So are you ready? This is how spoiled I am.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
By
it's
the
really
way,
pretty.
can you see how close I am to the beach? That's where I'm staying.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beach.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm spoiled.
You should do class. You should hold class while you're in the ocean. Like get a little floaty table and
Yeah, I feel like that would be dangerous since all my equipment is purchased by school. And crazy, yesterday there was a shark sighting.
oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, so I have not been in the water. But the beach is plenty fun. So, thanks. Sorry you're not here with me. I mean, now it sounds like COVID anyway. Um, but good job today. I'll be back at my boring house tomorrow. So, okay. See you tomorrow, guys. Let me know if you have any questions.
All right, bye.
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 Bye.